Hey everyone, it's Chris back again with another games pickup video. Today we've got probably my biggest pickups video to date. Got 23 different games to show you guys. So as usual, sit back and get ready to enjoy the show. Alright, let's get this started. First up, this is a gift pickup from a very special friend of mine. Her name's Annabelle. And she's very kind and generous. Well, she'd have to be to send me all this great stuff. So this definitely filled out a lot of games that I've been meaning to pick up in my collection. So thanks to Annabelle for that. I really appreciate it. Alright, so let's start this. First up we have these two. It's Crash Bandicoot 1 and Crash Bandicoot Warped for PS1. So this is the first and third game. I actually have the second game and the Crash Team Racing. So getting these two was awesome. I've wanted the Crash Bandicoot series for a while. I'm a big Naughty Dog fan. But yeah, I never owned those, so that's very awesome. And then she donated these two as well. And that is Legacy of Kain, Defiance, and Blood Omen 2 for PS2. So I've been trying to get the entire Legacy of Kain series. And now my collection is almost complete. I just need one more game, the original on PS1, Legacy of Kain, which I think I looked it up and it's not too expensive, so that's definitely something I need to pick up to complete this. I played a bit of both. Legacy of Kain Defiance was made by the actual developers of Legacy of Kain, while Blood Omen, I believe, was a different developer. And you can kind of tell it doesn't really play like Soul Reaver, but I think it kind of plays more like the PS1 original in a way, where it's more like kind of an RPG-ish feeling to it. I'm not sure though, but the movement is a little more clunky in this one. It has tank controls instead of kind of the free movement that the like the Soul Reaver type games have. But still, it's pretty cool to be able to play through the entire saga now. So let's go ahead and set these right there. And then next up, another game that she sent, and that is Devil Kings by Capcom. Now this kind of looks like it would be like a Devil May Cry ripoff or something. I mean, the font is very similar, but actually it's more of like Capcom's take on the Dynasty Warriors series. So it's more about fighting a big army in a big battlefield than the smaller encounters of Devil May Cry. I played a bit of it. It's really simplistic and the graphics are pretty dated, but for some reason it's still just really addictive when you start playing it. You want to get through the entire map and everything. And it seems easy at first, just mowing through the waves of enemies, but then you get to a tough enemy and it gets really difficult. So I'm definitely going to give this a bit more play and see if I can get good at it. So yeah, that's pretty cool little gem. And then here's the last one that she sent me. This is just amazing. I can't believe she gave me this, but there you go. Clock Tower 3, a great survival horror game for PS2. Yeah, PS2 had a lot of great survival horror games, actually. I kind of wish like PS3 and PS4 would have had the amount of quality survival horror that PS2 had. But yeah, this is part of the long-running Clock Tower series, obviously, but this one is, like the other ones, it's focused more on running away and hiding or outsmarting the monsters, kind of. But yeah, it's very cool. It relies on like a fear meter, basically, to control whether or not she panics and runs out of her hiding place or whatever. And I think if you have maximum fear, then the enemies can kill you in one hit. So yeah, that keeps the tension high, and the graphics are really nice for PS2 standards. So I gave this a little bit of a play back in the day. I rented it, and I played it a bit more, and yeah, it's really cool. I'm definitely going to try to beat this entire thing. So that's that. Alright. Let's see. Next up, I guess I will do... I'll just do some of these older. These are mostly like eBay and store pickups, but this one here is a Goodwill pickup, and that is XMen Legends. This is the XMen RPG. It's developed by Raven Software. Their logo's on the back down there. And it's an isometric kind of Diablo style RPG, but with X-Men characters obviously. And it got a lot of praise, so when I saw this at Goodwill, I think it was like $3 or $4 as usual, and I'm like, yeah, I do remember this getting a lot of praise, and I looked up a review, and it does look really nice. I kind of want to get the second game as well now. I have not actually tried this yet though. I'm thinking of waiting to do a first impressions video out of this. So you guys let me know what you think. Should I do that? But yeah, looks pretty cool. I don't own a ton of X-Men games either. I think I own maybe 2 or 3 of them. So that's cool to add to the collection. So anyways, next up, I guess we'll do 2 more PS2 games. And both of these I ordered online, I think on eBay. So first one is Resident Evil Dead Aim. So this is I think the 3rd light gun shooter in the Resident Evil series. The first being Gun Survivor, and then Code Veronica Gun Survivor, I think it was called. And then finally this. This is not that great, to be honest. The graphics are really dated, and I don't know, it's kind of clunky, bad animation, but I guess it's canon to the story, so I figured I'd pick it up. So yeah, it's another reason to use my GunCon 2 as well. So, whatever. And speaking of GunCon, yes, got another GunCon game. This is Time Crisis, Crisis Zone. It's the final Time Crisis game that I don't own. So yeah, I figured I should grab this while I was at it, buying, this game. So, yep, and it's pretty awesome actually. I think in the arcade it was just called Crisis Zone. It didn't have the Time Crisis name, and you can see why. It's a lot different. You don't take cover behind objects. You're walking around with a shield, and that's how you bring up cover. And it's all about automatic weapons and a bunch of enemies and like destructible environments, so it does have a very different feel from the rest of the Time Crisis games. I'd say Time Crisis Raising Storm on PS3 is very similar to this. You walk around with a shield for protection and all that, so yep, glad to finally have that. So next up, here's another eBay purchase. And since I got the Resident Evil Origins collection recently, I figured I'd go back and get the rest of the Resident Evil games I'm missing. So this was one of them, Gun Survivor, or Dead Aim I should say, and this was the other one I didn't have, Resident Evil Survivor. And this is the first light gun shooter made from Resident Evil. But unfortunately, the US version did not have GunCon support. So, yeah, you gotta play with the controller, but I went back and played it, and it's actually not too bad with the controller. It just feels like you're playing a first-person, classic Resident Evil game. So, yeah, it's not bad. It's canon, but, yeah, unfortunately, no GunCon support. So, that's unfortunate. Alright, next up. Here is a Amazon purchase. This wasn't too expensive, like 20 bucks, and I've needed it for a while. Final Fantasy Tactics A2, And I believe this is the last Final Fantasy Tactics game I didn't own. So now I have it, and I need to beat the entire series. I've only played the first game on PS1, so yep, need to beat Final Fantasy Tactics Advance and this one. I also want to pick up Final Fantasy 12 Revenant Wings, I believe it's called, on DS. And that's also kind of a tactics style game, but in the Final Fantasy 12 universe, even though Final Fantasy 12 universe is the same as the tactics universe. Ivalice, I think it's called. But yeah, pick that up, 20 bucks, so that's cool to have. Alright, next up, I guess we'll go with some more Goodwill purchases. I told you there's a lot of stuff in this video. So, I think I'm going to start with this. It's actually all PC games here. So, first up, we have this copy of Quake 1, which I actually do have one of these already, but it's the cardboard box version. Let me show you that really quick. So yeah, I already had this one, but I saw this for like, I think it was $2-3. So I'm like, whatever, I'll grab that. But next to it, there was also these two. So this is the Quake 1 mission packs, Scourge of Armagon and Disillusion of Eternity. So Quake 1 was my favorite Quake game because I enjoyed how it had the like the demonic portal setting, kind of like Doom, whereas like Quake 2 and Quake 4 went with the more futuristic alien, you know, space type of thing. So I really like the gritty, you know, Lovecraft style of the original Quake. I really wish they would go back to that still. So if you're listening, id Software, please do that. I'd love to see a continuation of this universe. But yeah, I've never owned the mission packs for it, so yeah, it's cool to finally have that. So yes, that's that. Let's go ahead and put those right here. We'll throw that right here. Alright, so next up, some more from the same, this was all in one Goodwill haul, by the way. All these games I'm showing right now. They had a big pile of PC games, and here's another one I grabbed, the Call of Duty 2 PC version. And, you know, I'm not a huge fan of Call of Duty, but the originals by Infinity Ward were definitely good games. So I figured I'd grab the PC version. I think PC games this old don't require, like, online activation, or at least I hope this one doesn't. So this is kind of a collectible copy to me if it's installable offline. So yeah, grab that. Got to try it out for better graphics and everything. And then here's another PC game. Someone must have got rid of their entire collection. So we got Serious Sam 2, which I've never played the Serious Sam series, but it's just flat out action, kind of like the old Doom where there's just a ton of enemies that you blow away. So I definitely want to give this a try. I haven't installed it yet. And don't you love how these old PC boxes opened up? I mean, I guess they still do. Like, I think StarCraft 2 does that as well, maybe. But yeah, I always like that about these boxes. So yeah, got that. And then had this there as well, which is pretty cool. Stalker, Shadow of Chernobyl. And that's by the developers who went on to make the Metro 2033 game and Metro Last Light. And this is their open world kind of RPG shooter, post-apocalypse. So it's very cool, very in-depth, kind of hard to pick up and play, but if you learn to play it, it's very rewarding. And sorry if my speech is a little weird right now, because I'm kind of didn't get a lot of sleep, so I'm kind of like, ugh. But anyways, next up, I found this as well, the original Fear. There's the inside. I always loved the Fear games, but never owned the PC original. I have the Xbox 360 version, but it's kind of shitty, and unless you patch it, it has a lot of bugs in it. So I wanted kind of a, complete PC version of the original for collection's sake, so I was happy to find that. And this, Fear Extraction Point. I believe, I can't remember if this is considered canon, Extraction Point. Possibly just this one is canon, but I can't remember if it's just the second expansion or all the expansions that aren't official. But it's a very cool expansion. It has really fun gameplay. Not quite as good as the original, though. So very happy to find that. Alright, so we're almost through. Now we're going to get to some newish releases. So, not quite a lot of new releases here. I've been finding a lot of old stuff, and yeah. But anyways, first up we'll show this. This is Ultra Street Fighter 4. And this is the 4th copy of Street Fighter 4 that I have. How about that? Yeah, I bought the Street Fighter... Well, I bought this one, the original collector's edition for PS3. I bought the 3DS version, which I don't have right now offhand. I bought this version when I was like, okay, this has got to be the last one that they're releasing. And then they do Ultimate. So I finally bought this for, I want to say this was like $14 to $18 on Amazon, but I can't remember. So yeah, with the whole Street Fighter V debacle, releasing an incomplete game, expecting gamers to front $60 for the promise that it'll be a complete game, I think is complete bullshit. So I'm like, alright, well, this is a complete game, so let's just go ahead and get this for cheap. Until Street Fighter V is actually complete, then I will buy it. But yes, there you go. Got Ultra now. And this is a big pile of games. Holy crap. Alright, so next, here's a game that I imported from PlayAsia. And this is the Asia version of Bloodborne, the Old Hunters edition. So this is full English voice and text. Obviously the PS4 is region free. The only weirdness is since it's an Asia version, they reversed the confirm button from the X button to circle. That's how it's always been in Japan and Asia regions, I believe. So you just got to kind of get used to circle being examine and X being the roll button. It's weird at first, but I got used to it. The only thing that mixes me up a little bit is when you go in menus, I always hit the X button to like pick an item when it's circle now. But other than that, it's pretty cool to have the expansion on a physical copy. So that's what it came with, no instructions or anything, but yeah, I'm glad to have the expansion physical, so that's cool. I think this was $50 on PlayAsia. And then next up, another release that I've been waiting for, while waiting to be complete. And what do you think that is? Yes, Mortal Kombat XL. I was really excited for Mortal Kombat X until I heard like the amount of DLC it was getting, and I'm like, okay. Mortal Kombat 9 got a complete edition, so I might as well wait for X to get a complete edition. And it sure did. And this is an awesome edition, I must say. I've been enjoying the hell out of it. There's so much content. Oh my god. Story mode, the regular arcade ladder mode, like every character has their own ending. There's so many fatalities. There's brutalities, which are almost like a bit more simple fatalities. This version adds the stage fatalities, which was sorely missing in the original release. I can't enjoy any Mortal Kombat game unless it has stage fatalities. I think Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance on PS2 was another one that didn't have stage fatalities, and I never enjoyed it for that reason. So this is a very complete copy. I would recommend picking it up very much so. So yes, very glad to have that. Alright, and then we have one final thing to show off. And this is kind of a surprise unboxing as well. And that is Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD. This is the Amiibo bundle edition, which I believe all launch copies are this bundle. But let's go ahead. It's going to be a simple unboxing. There's not much to it other than, well, it also came with this here. This was a GameStop exclusive pre-order bonus. I don't know if it's really worth it, but a little soundtrack sampler CD. And if possible, you can try to pause the video and read that just so you know what tracks it comes with. So we'll just leave that as is. And where did I put my knife? Here we go. So let's just cut the seal on Zelda. There we go. And just pop her open. So the Amiibo has some functionality for this game, obviously. I think this unlocks a secret dungeon for the wolf, which is what I hear, just a retread of an existing dungeon. So that's a little disappointing, but whenever a game comes with something extra, I like to get it, unless it's really like a shitty extra. But yeah, I like to get the Amiibo bundles, so not sure yet if I'm going to open up this wolf Amiibo. Not sure how much that dungeon even matters to me. But from what I hear, the best way to open these, if you still want to display them, is to kind of cut the bottom out like a flap, like that. That way you can kind of open it up, pull it out, and, well, that sounded wrong. But and then, you know, put it back and close it up and put it in there. So I might try that out. Yeah, I kind of want to get another Amiibo as well. Well, maybe two other ones. I want to get the Ganondorf one, because that unlocks like a harder mode for this. That's separate from the hero mode. And then I want to get the Star Fox Amiibo at some point, because that is going to be used for Star Fox Zero, to unlock the classic sound effects from Star Fox on Super Nintendo and the classic R-Wing model from Super Nintendo. So that's a must for me as well, because I love the Super Nintendo Star Fox. But yeah, Twilight Princess HD. Let's pop this open real quick just to see what it looks like. I'm guessing there's no instruction manual. I can't think of a single Wii U game that had a manual. So this will probably be pretty uneventful here, but I'm sure some people enjoy the sound of plastic being ripped off a game. So, yep, as usual, just, you know, safety and disclaimer or whatever, and the game itself. So there you go. So yeah, I think that just about concludes it. I think I might just leave this soundtrack sealed, because I can just look up all these songs on YouTube. So yeah, that's more just a collector's piece. So yeah, that's that. Hope you guys enjoyed this look at all my pickups. It's been a doozy this time, but the next one, who knows how many there will be. There's a lot of new releases that are coming, but who knows what I'll find in the wild, you know. Some months I got a ton of shit just like this, and others, you know, 1 to 2 things. But yeah, and again, thanks to Annabelle for sending all those games. That's so generous of you, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means a lot to me. So anyways, as usual, like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys on the next video. Alright, peace out.